Good morning. Welcome to the White River Buddhist Temple, April 2021 Shotsuki Virtual Service. My name is Roger Fukai, and I will be today's service chair. Please Gasho for opening meditation. In life, we should accumulate all the merit of Nembutsu, so that when death comes, we will be welcomed by Amida Buddha into the pure land of ultimate bliss. In essence, if we recite Nembutsu believing that no matter what comes or goes, there is no anxiety in this life, we will be free from the worry of birth and death. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. This morning we'll chant Sanbujo, followed by Jusei Gei, led by Reverend Warrick. During chanting, we will remember individuals who have passed away in the month of April by reading and displaying their names on the screen with remembrance.
Ujo Midan Yorai Niudo Jo San Ye Ra Ku Ujo Shaka Nyorai Diudo Jo San Ge Ra Ku Bujo Jipo Nyorai Niuno Jo San Ge Ku Dragon Chosegan Ishibujodo Shigan Fumanzo Seifujo Shoga Gao
Richard William Arima, Reiko Yamamoto, Dennis Tanaka, Barbara Kimiko Tsuji, Kenzo Kinoshita, Frank Masaru Arima, George Akio Takeda, Frank Senji Natsuhara, Misao Tsukamaki, Roy Fujisawa Bingo, Fujie Yabusaki, Tetsuo Yanagawa, Kaoru Yanagawa, Sherry Watanabe.
飯こもあん、閉塞小悪道、すだん全宗門、高層小満足、いよろじぽ、日月修十期、天候音普賢、一周解放像、公正空読法、両大集中、説法四四空、空用一切仏、具足中特本、元年新上満、得意三害用、両仏無下地、通達に不詳、願学エリク、都市最小村、志願や国家、大仙の感動、国書天人、とうち妙慶、ダマンダンブ、ダマンダンブ、ダマンダンブ、ダマンダンブ、ダマンダンブ。がんにしくどく、平等性祭、道本菩提心、お上あわけ。Namo Amida, Namo Amida, Namanda, 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 Namanda.
The Jodo Shinshu Creed. In trusting the vow of the Buddha and reciting the sacred name, I shall proceed through the journey of life with strength and joy. Revering the light of the Buddha, reflecting upon my imperfect self, I shall strive to live a life of gratitude. Following the teachings of the Buddha, discerning the right path, I shall spread the true Dharma. Rejoicing in the compassion of the Buddha, respecting and aiding one another, I shall do my best to work towards the welfare of society. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our virtual service today, and thank you for joining us. Please join me in Gassho for a reading from the Primal Vow. If, when I attain Buddhahood, sentient beings in the lands of the 10 quarters who sincerely and joyfully entrust themselves to me, desire to be born in my land and call my name even 10 times, should not be born there, may I not attain perfect enlightenment. Excluded, however, are those who commit the 5 gravest offenses and abuse the right Dharma. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Namo. Today, we dedicate our service to those who have gone before us to the pure land of perfect peace during this month and years gone by. We remember our friends, family, and our Dharma ancestors with warmth and happiness. By keeping the memories of our loved ones alive, we can conceivably better understand ourselves. The Shotsuki-Hoyo service is about our awareness of our transformations because of the lives of family and friends. Therefore, the literal meaning of the kanji characters for the word Shotsuki means joyous month. And it may seem a little bit odd to use this word joyous month for a memorial service, but using this service to reflect on how our lives have been informed by those before us, even for just a moment, can in fact change us. It might also seem odd to think about joy while we're living in such troubled times. Sometimes I'm asked why Buddhists are so obsessed with suffering, as in the Four Noble Truths, that life is suffering, there's a cause for suffering, there's an end to suffering, and the end of suffering is contained in the Eightfold Path. Well, the Buddha came into this world not to teach us only about suffering. He also teaches us how people can have a lifetime of bliss and happiness by moving away from the three poisons, as in the three sayings from the Dhammapada. Happily we live without greed in the midst of a life full of greed. We live without hate in the middle of a life full of hatred. We live not deluded in the midst of a delusion. These three verses that I read are the advice of the Buddha to all of us. He encourages us to give up greed and delusion, to be happy and peaceful. Now, this advice also very clearly confirms that the Buddha's view of happiness in life, that is, a life away from greed and delusion. The Buddha's view on happiness and joy is not one of just being happy and joyous for ourselves, but for that of others. When he says, your suffering is my suffering, and your happiness is my happiness. He used the word mudita, and that word is defined as joy, especially sympathetic or vicarious joy, or the pleasure that comes from delighting in other people's well-being. The traditional example of this mind state is the attitude of a parent observing a growing child's accomplishments and successes. You know, when you see the baby rise off of the floor for the first time trying to walk or say the first few words, you have a feeling of happiness, and you can see the happiness in the child's face. Mudita, however, should not be confused with pride, as a person feeling mudita may not have any interest or any direct income from the accomplishments of the other. Mudita is a pure joy, is unadulterated by self-interest. And the Buddha felt this word was so important that he included it when he taught his monks, to arouse the four states of mind. These four states are called Brahma Vihara, or four divine states of dwelling. These four states are sometimes called the four immeasurables or the four perfect virtues. The four states are metta, loving kindness, karuna, compassion, mudita, sympathetic joy or empathy, and upekkha, equanimity or being calm and balanced. These states also interrelate and support each other. Sometimes when we ask our friends if they're doing okay, or how they're doing rather, they might say a variation of the following. They might say, I'm good, but I feel guilty saying that. I know everything is awful, but I'm well. Their voices might drop a little bit in volume by the end of the sentence, as if to say, I don't deserve to have any take joy in my joy. I might even be a terrible person for enjoying my life in the midst of so much pain in the world today. But it's indeed a depressing fact that people are much more ready to sympathize with the misfortunes of others than to actually rejoice with them. Mudita can be akin to a good meal. You knew I'd bring that up, nourishing and necessary. I think happiness is infectious, and unselfish joy can easily grow out of it. You know, children readily respond by their own smiles and happy mood, so smiling faces and happiness around them. The Buddha says, if it were impossible to cultivate food, I wouldn't tell you to do so. So unselfish joy can indeed act as a powerful agent in releasing dormant forces of the good in the human heart. I think Shinran felt this mudita, this taking joy in the joy of others, when he wrote in the following letter to some of his Sangha members, the followers actually. Shinran says, "There was a time, each of you, when you knew nothing of Amida's vow and did not say the name of Amida Buddha. But now, guided by the compassionate means of Shakyamuni Buddha and Amida, you have begun to hear the vow. Formerly you were drunk with the wine of ignorance and had a liking only for the three poisons of greed, anger, and folly. But since you've begun to hear the Buddha's vow, you've gradually awakened from the drunkenness of ignorance, gradually rejected the three poisons, and come to prefer at all times the medicine of Amida Buddha. In people who have long heard the Buddha's name and said the Nimbutsu, surely there are signs of rejecting the evil of this world and signs of their desire to cast off the evil in themselves. When people first begin to hear the Buddha's vow, they wonder, having become thoroughly aware of the karmic evil in their hearts and minds, how they will ever attain birth as they are. To such people, we teach that since we are possessed of blind passions, the Buddha receives us without judging whether our hearts are good or bad. When, upon hearing this, a person's trust in the Buddha has grown deep, they begin to abhor such a self and to lament continued existence in the birth and death, the rounds of birth and death. And such a person then joyfully says the name of Amida Buddha, deeply entrusting themselves to the vow. That people seek to stop doing wrong and the heart moves them. Although earlier they gave thought to such things and committed them to their minds and dictated, it is surely a sign of having rejected this world. And I think when Shinran saw the joy and happiness among his followers after saying that to them, he might have said, "Sore wa watashi no yorokobi ne." Sore, that, wa, is, watashi no, my, yorokobi is happiness. That is my happiness. So this feeling that Shinran had of happiness was the joy that he felt in that his followers had embraced the Nimbutsu. So in closing, I would like to quote author James Baraz as he says, "Joy has many different flavors. It might overflow from us in a song or dance, or it might gently arise as a smile or a sense of inner fullness. Joy is not something we have to manufacture. It is already in us when we come into the world, as we can see in the natural delight and exuberance of a healthy baby. We need only release the layers of contraction and fear that have kept us from it." So please join me in again in Gasho for words from the Dhammapada. Live in joy, in love, even among those who hate. Live in joy, in health, even among the afflicted. Live in joy, in peace, even among the troubled. Look within, be still, free from fear and attachment. Know the sweet joy of the way. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida. Again, thank you for joining me today, joining us today, and listening to my message, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Before we end today's service, I'd like to make a few announcements. As a friendly reminder, in-person temple operations remain suspended indefinitely. Your safety is our top concern, and we're working hard to find virtual opportunities to engage our Sangha. All service dates and links can be found on the temple calendar or on the website. Our next virtual service will be next Sunday, April 11th at 10:30 a.m. Please join us. In dedication to those we lost this past year, White River is starting a Tsudu drive. The Tsudu will be hung in the temple hondo for display during virtual services. More information can be found at wrbt.org/Tsudu. Our next virtual book club meeting will take place this evening at 7 p.m. Please sign up to receive the link at wrbt.org/bookclub. Our next virtual Timeless Favorites cooking class will be on April 24th at 11 a.m. with Memi Yamashita. Please register online at wrbt.org/timelessfavorites. Finally, if you don't already, please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and our website for the latest information. Those are all the announcements. At this time, please Gasho for closing meditation. Conquer the angry one by not getting angry. Conquer the wicked by goodness. Conquer the stingy by generosity, and the liar by speaking the truth. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you all for joining our virtual service today. We hope you enjoyed it and appreciate you joining us from wherever you are. Hope you will join us again. Stay safe.